Just around 6 months ago, everything in my business completely went to shit. And I'm talking everything. And in this video, what I want to do is talk about the mental and physical things that I had to go through and do to be able to get back to the point where I was doing very well for myself. In fact, last month we did 18K within my business. So the reason why I want to do this is because everyone will make videos online talking about once you hit your first 10K month, this is awesome. This is what you can do. Or once you hit your first 30K month, that's what freedom feels like. That's when you can buy this and do that. But no one actually talks about what it feels like to hit a milestone. Like everyone's milestone is usually like their first 10K month. And then after that, it's usually like a 20K or 30K. But hit that milestone of, 10K in a month. And then maybe the next month, you fall below that. Or maybe you do 10K a month consistently for 6 months, like how I was doing before my business went to shit. I was doing 20 to 30K per month for like 6 months straight. And maybe you do that, but then the next month, something breaks in your business and you go back down to 1K or you go to 2K, or you go to zero, like even worse. And no one talks about that. And it is so mentally draining to go from being on this high of doing so well for yourself and accomplishing all the goals that you want to hit to back down into the trenches. And in this video, like I said, I want to talk about kind of my experience with it and tell a little bit about my story. And so you can, not be prepared for this, but know to be mentally tough and know what you need to do within your business, no matter whatever business you're doing, to get it back to that point where you want to get it to. So a little bit of backstory on me. What happened with me is pretty much my business partner and I, no bad blood at all, but we had a falling out. It just wasn't working anymore. We had multiple months in a row where we had to pull personal money, where we really just weren't making a profit. And it just didn't work out. We wanted to go our separate directions. I ended up buying the business back to have full ownership. And it was crazy at that point. It felt good to kind of resolve some things. But also I was at the point where still I was at rock bottom and I had to build this whole thing up. So first thing I want to talk about is like the mental aspect from that. And I'm honestly give myself credit for this. I feel like I was able to do it relatively quick. It really only took me like a month or two to get back on my feet, get it to the point where the business was making significant profit and I was being able to pay myself out. Because if you watched my video like two videos ago, you'll see I talked about the 18K launch I did in the month of August. So I was able to bounce back. And mentally, I really had to instill in my head that business is kind of like a roller coaster, especially like online business. There's going to be times where you are riding the highest of highs, and then there's going to be times where you are down in the dumps. And as soon as I kind of instilled that into my head, that like that was natural, it allowed me to just have more peace when I was working. Because before, when it first happened, it was like, I need to do everything to fix everything right now. This shouldn't be happening. What's going on? Is this going to fail? Is everything that I've worked for just not even worth it? That's kind of how I was feeling. But then I realized like no business is just like this and gradually growing, especially in the first couple of years. So I took that step back and was like, okay, this is completely natural. It's time to rebuild. So the first thing that you really have to do mentally, if you do fall below your profit or you go back down to zero or something like that, is you need to take a step back out of your business and really kind of just analyze everything that's going on. Take a look at everything from top of the funnel, your marketing, to your sales processes, to your leads, to the culture of like people you're working with, literally your product, everything. You need to take a look at everything. And that's what I did. And I, switched up my funnel to a point when this is where I'll get a little bit more specific, but my funnel originally was just completely reliant on my business partner's Instagram. If that did good, we were making more money, and it did good for 6 months until his like account got flagged and it just went to shit. That was one of the reasons. So I decided to create a funnel that I could actually control using ads, using other influencers in the industry that I'm in. And basically this allows me to actually have more control of leads coming in, of things being good, rather than kind of just a luck-based system. So that was the first thing I fixed. And then another thing I fixed is just overall the actual sales process of everything. It was very robotic before, and that's something that I took a step back and fixed. And this is getting into the more like specific, like actual physical things within the business that I changed. But the mindset is what really helped me do that at first, is taking a step back, realizing that, this is natural and things like this happen, but I need to take a step back and rebuild it. It's not going to just be instant teleport to the goal that I want to hit. It's going to take a month or two of doing this. And what being able to do that mentally is what allowed me to get to the point where I am now, where I'm back and going as strong as this business ever was. So that was definitely like the main thing. And for you guys, if you're at a point where you're falling below your goal, or you're hitting a plateau, or you're going even worse below that plateau, you need to realize that, number one, it's natural. Obviously, all the things you see online is, you're just supposed to teleport from nothing to 10K, and then 10K to 100K, and then make millions and be a millionaire by 21 years old. That's just like 0.0001%. And I'm not saying you shouldn't strive for that, but what I'm saying is you need to face reality and know that things are going to come up. And if you can be strong enough to fix those things and be able to take a step back and realize what's going wrong and fix it, you're going to make insane progress. And it might not be the quickest progress possible, but it's going to be progress that is a grind, and it is going to make you way more money than just short-term success. So really, like, if you could take anything away from this video, is if you hit a certain goal and now you're starting to fall below it and you're wondering what you're doing wrong, realize you might not be doing anything completely wrong, in the big scheme of things. You just need to take a step back, rebuild, recognize that you have to rebuild, and it's going to take more work than usual. It's going to take longer than usual, and get it back on track, and then gradually build it back up. And that's really the biggest thing. That's exactly what I did between my marketing, between my lead generation, between my sales process, between the actual product and service that I have. That's exactly what I did. And like I said, it worked out very well for me. And that little feeling that I had when everything went to rock bottom, that this wasn't going to work out, all of that's completely gone now. So if you're going through anything like that, whether it's, a business partner fallout, or you're falling below your goal, or you just feel like it's not going to work out, use, this advice in terms of, because it's really all mental. Like, obviously there's physical things that are broken within your business, but you can't solve those until you fix your mental and know that you need to take a step out. And that's exactly what I did. So it's a little bit different of a video than what I usually make, but I kind of just wanted to yap about this for a little bit because I thought it was really cool. And I do give myself a lot of credit for being able to do this. And I want anybody that's watching this to also be able to do that when things, and realize that not everything's just up all the time. So yeah, if you took any value from this, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll make sure to answer. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.